Hey everyone, Reyan and Mark here on the BBQ and Brews Show. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
Not too bad, mate. How's the vacay going?
Look, it was pretty good, except for I missed the massive Detroit-style riots that went through Geelong. I really enjoyed watching the footage of how basically Geelong was shut down by all the, let's say, celebration/protesting they looked like of the win, and it just went on for days. And I was a bit sad that I missed out on that, but otherwise, it's been pretty good.
That was good, mate. And look, we've got a great couple of guests coming on. We're meant to have three, but we've got two of the three members of the Rugby Society, which is Corey and Daniel, on the show today, coming on to talk about, I guess, why this started, what the journey's been over the first 12 months, and also, what's next and what it's been like to, I guess, start a business and run through one crazy year as well. So it's going to be a great story, which I'm looking forward to. Before we kick off, obviously, the Rugby Society is a sponsor, but they're coming on today to share their story. And Mark, I'm guessing you don't have a rub of the week, but I don't have a rub of the week.
I was going to pick up something there from the shop, but that Cotton Tree Butchers I just saw from my tomahawk, that was a pretty good spot there. So if you're up this way,
yeah, look awesome, amazing spread.
If I had a decent barbecue up here, I would have bought a lot more stuff, but it was a struggle to cook that.
Well, one of the things that I sort of like using and that come from the Rugby Society, so it's the olive pips, mate. They work a treat, and I know the Rugby Society, I think they carry the 3 and the 8 kilo bags. So yeah, worth checking out, and RFDRS to get 10% off. So just check that out. And what are you drinking tonight, Mark? I know
I'm still away, so sadly I'm lacking my brewery cola. But I was nearly going to bring a 4X on, but I thought, no, I can't do that.
Should have.
But I'll grab one of these 10 toes again, the IPA. So we'll see how this one goes.
Oh, nice. Yeah, cool.
I just love the designs on all their cans.
Yeah, they're very eye-catchy. I'm going with the classic brewery cola palm. So this one, a bit of a pale ale there, and it's going to be great drinking this one down. So let me just do this away from all the tech, because I've got way more tech than I need right now. Yeah, cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Well, that's nice.
And just for everyone at home, Brewery Cola is a local brewery down here in Ocean Grove, near Geelong. So great to have them on board as a sponsor. Speaking of sponsors, good to get a couple of teams in here. So let's start with Corey and Daniel. Welcome to the show, gents, from the Rugby Society.
Hey guys, how you going?
Thanks for having us, guys.
Oh, not a problem. It's been it's great to have you guys, and it's been cool, I guess, over the last 6 to 8 months of getting to know you guys and seeing what you do and seeing that journey and having quite a few chats on and off social. So it's been really good, mate. But before we start, what are we drinking, gents?
You go first, Corey.
All right, I'll go first. So
I got to stop generally asking. I got to go specific.
Yeah. I've got a Mismatch Brewing Adelaide Crows Session Ale.
Is that a collector's edition?
Well, no.
Limited edition?
It's a limited edition, but everyone's drowning their sorrows with this beer at the moment. So yes.
I've gone with the Mexican's finest, Corona.
Extra.
In dedication to the past couple of years.
Excellent, mate. Excellent. All right. Look, let's kick off with you, Daniel. Tell us a little bit about yourself, mate. What's your barbecue story? How did you get into barbecue and rubs and all sorts?
So I've always loved ribs, and essentially, I think we've all sort of noticed in Australia, we haven't never really done low and slow right up until the past maybe 5 or 10 years. Just putting a smoky barbecue sauce on something and then claiming that as ribs. So always really, really liked it. And then literally went to a mate's house one day. He had a $200 offset. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go and get one for my birthday. Started doing that. Absolutely fell in love with it. Started talking about it at work with Corey and Michael. And I mean, I've probably been smoking for 2 years now. So 2 years later, here I am having a small business in the area.
That's unreal, man. How about yourself, Corey? What got you started with, barbecue and this passion to start the business?
Yeah, I sort of started out with the old grill, the gas grill for many years. And my dad was his barbecue was his 4th son, so it was amazing.
And that's what my kids think of me, going.
Yeah. So yeah, we from there I got my own little Weber and sort of started from there. And it's just one of those things that, when you cook something right and you're eating it and you're going, I actually made that. That's it's amazing. And and then when you feed the family and you get some smiles and some full bellies, it makes it all worth it. So yeah, it's that sort of drives a bit of the passion that I've got for barbecuing.
Oh, that's awesome, mate.
So Corey, what's your favourite protein to cook?
I'm at the moment I'm sort of torn between brisket and beef ribs. I've just started sort of experimenting with a few other little things. Did some bao buns a couple of weeks ago, which I'd never done for the kids, and they loved it. And I think there's nothing better than a nice slice of brisket, done right with the right sort of flavoring on it. It's just it's just amazing. So yeah.
I just find I just can't eat a whole brisket to myself, and so that's the problem. It's always too much meat, but then they turn into pies and other things after the fact, which is always nice.
Yeah, well, Michael can attest that he made some pies the other day, not here obviously tonight, but made some pies the other day, and I was able to have it at lunch for work today, and it was the best pie I've ever put in my mouth. And I've eaten a few pies in my time, so
that's unreal.
Stop laughing, chins.
Hot bite.
Yeah.
So I guess for you, Daniel, you're a rib man.
Yeah, so probably ribs is where the love started. And then, to be honest, I got a bit sick of barbecue ribs. So I've actually really enjoyed experimenting with flavors, so making Asian style ribs. Loved what you did maybe a couple of months ago, Reyan, with the with the satay ribs and whatnot. So trying to incorporate ribs as like a dish. And then I love Asian food, so I love doing like an Asian fusion with the ribs in some form of way.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I must admit it's been one of those things that I just tried finding different flavors for ribs, mate. It's good fun.
Speaking of ribs, I think I've got a few mates ribbing into me in the comments section at the moment, which is good.
Yeah, I think Chris Oakley's got a nice comment there. That's a good one.
Yeah.
So that's Huget, is it? Oh,
yeah. Huget.
Huget. Okay, just checking.
And Smith is Smith.
Keep it simple. I like it.
Yeah.
So Daniel, tell us how the Rubber Society all came to be. Where did the idea come from?
I think I give Corey credit for this usually, which is rare because I don't give him credit for much.
Sorry.
He's away, mate. He's away.
Yeah, I've started it. Just let me get my script out. So we started it. Essentially, we were all working. We all still do work together, and we're going through a bit of a hard time at work. And I think it was Corey just came over to Michael and I's desk one day and said, wouldn't it be good to just smoke meat and sell barbecue rubs for a living? And I think we all sort of put our heads together, and this is in the middle of COVID, and we all sort of went, well, all right, we're not going to open a physical store because that's, A, we legally weren't allowed to at the time. We weren't allowed to, sort of go out and about. But B, obviously, it's a massive risk, going straight into bricks and mortar. So we thought we'd dip our toes in the online world, and it's fair to say we've been incredibly overwhelmed with the support from the barbecue community in the past 12 months and how much we've grown.
Part of the other reason we were sort of looking at it as well is trying to just bring a lot of the stuff that you had to go to different places to get under the one roof. We sort of seen that there was a few businesses that were doing that, but not really having the online presence. So we thought that would be a really good start, and if that eventually leads to a brick and mortar store down the track, then great. But for now, online is doing really well. So yeah,
that's one of the things I really love about it too. That you guys are bringing together all those different sort of businesses and giving people the opportunity to sort of try different things, and it's been really exposing us all to people we may not have heard of before as well.
That's the beauty, I suppose, of this is, we wanted to, when we were discussing the launch, we wanted to really bring a couple of brands on that hadn't had any Australian exposure before, and we were lucky enough to get the Butcher's Cut on board and Postal Barbecue. and we found Jabin just online and doing, some amazing YouTube videos, and we found he was selling his own and was able to get them on board. So we're lucky for that. We're always on the lookout for exclusives as well, and we can hopefully in the next sort of 6 months we can start introducing some more to the market.
That's unreal. You started the Rob Society. How did you go about sourcing the? You said you got a couple of the butcher's cut and things like that. But how did you go sourcing that product? Is it local vendors, or did you have to go international? What's that? I suppose a journey to try and get stock in and hold stock.
Those guys were international. We reached straight out to them. Sort of via social media, and was able to get some responses. And then it was the same with the local suppliers, both in South Australia and around Australia as well. Is we just reached out via Instagram and Facebook, and they were lucky enough to come back to us, and we were lucky enough for them to come back to us and point us in the right direction to be able to bring them on board with us.
That's it.
So how many small businesses now are you supporting?
I was just thinking that question as you were talking. Then I was like, I was thinking about how many.
Ask it.
how many we started with, how many we're at now. Geez, Corey, you're the distributor. Do you have any idea how many we stock now?
Daniel, just quickly, what do you do at the Rob Society?
Mate,
Corey seems to do everything.
You're looking at it.
Yeah.
You're looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just the face.
No, sorry. Stop. Go, Corey.
How much you guys
carry now?
Well, look, we carry. I reckon we're carrying about 40 different suppliers on board. I think different rubs, and we're lucky enough that some of the main distributors in Australia have multiple brands that we can just sort of pick and choose how we go. We've been in South Australia, we're pretty blessed to have some amazing producers locally. We've got Russ at Natural Smoke, Jim at Olive Pit, Aaron at Low and Slow Basics, and Tom Smoky Pastures, Justin at Smoking Mangoes.
Rub and
Grub,
Rub
and Grub, Kyle, Rub and Grub, and Adriana at BRZ and Meat Labs. So
get them all in, Corey. Don't miss any of them.
This is just amazing. Yeah, it's amazing to be able to roll off those guys and what they're bringing to our store. But they're also influencing a heap of other people in the barbecue world, which is pretty good.
That's it. And look, you got 280 something products on your website, and it's not just rubs either, is it? So you guys carry knives, fuel, smoking woods, so it's as well as barbecue accessories. So you're kind of branching out ever so slowly, but at the same time almost at the quite quickly in the last year.
We've got some amazing accessories as well from a guy that's a local guy that produces a whole heap of kettle accessories, GA accessories, and again it's just having the ability to have so much stuff under one roof where somebody can go, I can buy my rubs, I can buy my fuel, I can buy a riser for my GA, and I can be all set from the one spot. So it's a really good place to be at the moment.
And if someone's watching and want to get their products on your website, hit you up on Instagram. What's the best way to sort of get in touch with you guys?
Yeah, our socials is the easiest way to hit us up. We have had people reach out that way to get on board, and we'll definitely sort of come back to you, and if it sort of suits where we're at and where we're heading, then we'll definitely sort of have a look at it.
Are you finding it's now giving more organic growth sort of that way, where people are approaching you?
Yeah. I think it's sort of it's been. I feel pretty honoured when somebody reaches out with their product and say, "Hey, would you like to sell it for us?" Because it probably shows that we're doing something right. Obviously in the early days, we're the ones sort of making all the moves, but now having people come to us, it's a pretty humbling sort of thing for us.
That's awesome, man. Look, obviously starting out and having to start selling products and hold product. How did you guys manage the logistics and holding of stock and things like that? Because obviously, you guys don't have a brick and mortar location. What was that like?
Yeah,
you're surrounded by rubs, eh?
I've got one car in my garage at the moment, and that's we at the moment we're in our temporary home. We're building a house not far from where we are, and there's a decent old shed being built that we can store a fair bit of this gear. But yeah, my wife is quite understanding. With my arsenal of barbecues, I've also got the arsenal of rubs. So yeah, she's quite an understanding little gem, that one.
I forgot to ask you, mate, what barbecues you're running with. We sort of talked about how you got started, but what are you cooking on?
I have a Texas Pro Pit like yourself.
That's right.
The Hark. So it's an amazing piece of kit. I've got a Traeger Ironwood.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've got the 885. I swore, and he's smiling.
Come on, tell him the story.
Yeah, I always used to have a crack at Daniel and Michael because they had pellet smokers, and how about you be a real man and just play with fire and. But then I kind of, started watching a bit of Matt Pittman Meat Church, and actually the thing that really got me going toward a pellet smoker was seeing the new Timberline XL come out and just go, wow, that thing is such an amazing piece of machinery.
Yeah.
And then I saw what the prices were going to be and went, yeah, okay, well that can stay there, and I'll find something else. And yeah, I came across the Ironwood, and that's amazing. Your old trusty Weber. I've got a GA. I've got a Weber Q. So yeah, there's a lot going on at the moment. So yeah, again, the wife's pretty patient and understanding, and yeah, we're all good. We're all good to keep adding when we need to.
That's it. How about you, Daniel?
So yeah, I started on an offset, and then I went and got a Pit Boss Navigator Pro 850, which I love. But then I also recently went out and bought my first ever Weber kettle.
Nice.
So, and I absolutely love the Weber. Like, they are so versatile, and I say to anyone, like, if you've got a Weber, you can smoke. Like, you can. The amount of videos, Aaron's got plenty up on his YouTube channel about how to set the Weber up and smoke off a Weber. So if I want something, with that real charcoal flavor using olive Pipco, usually I'll go the Weber. If I'm doing an overnight cook or just don't have time, then it'll obviously be the pellet smoker as well.
100%. The versatility, mate, of the kettle is unreal. I think the scale back factor too. You can obviously do the longer cooks on a small amount of barbecue without having to fire up a big offset smoker, which is fantastic.
Yeah. I've just been enjoying, putting the pellet smoker on and going to bed. Waking up the next morning and the brisket's nearly done, and you've had your good night's sleep. And whilst I know a lot of people sort of call them a microwave, I understand that, but it's there's some convenience behind it, so it's great. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my offset. I love playing with fire, but it's
the convenience. I mean, 100% is convenience, man. Especially if you've got kids and stuff. It's just sometimes you just haven't got the time to sit there and sort of feed a stick burner. So yeah, but I must be
in 5 to 10 minutes is always good.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you're getting caught up in Call of Duty.
You know what Corey's doing next month. All right.
100%.
I think everyone's a bit pumped for that one.
Might even be a day off work for that one.
What? Why is he sick? Oh, the beater's out.
Yeah.
With the the world and the supply chain issues that's happened, has that affected or impacted your business at all?
A little bit. Our overseas friends have struggled from time to time to get us something, fairly quickly. We found that there's things have gone missing, and we've had to have things reorder. Some of our local distributors here that we order some of that overseas gear from, have had issues with obviously shipping and containers and things like that. So it has affected us. We've wanted to, stock the whole range of Meat Church, but we found that we could only sort of get them in dribs and drabs, and Now finally, things have sort of started to open up a bit, and we're finding a few more of those American brands are starting to come through again, and so it's been good. It's been good to be able to rely on the local brands as well. To try and keep us going while we didn't want to just sort of be exclusive with overseas stuff. I know, and I'm probably speaking on behalf of Daniel too, but we were pretty keen to really support local SA brands as well as others around the nation, and so to have them sort of keep us going for a while has been good.
No, it's unreal, man. And look, it's I think the local brands and the local markets really boomed over the last couple of years as well. You've sort of got some amazing products. You don't really have to go overseas, but at the same time, the overseas does bring some variety into it as well, and their own flavor spin. So it's really good.
Yeah.
But look, let's talk about social media, because I know that's played a huge part in your growth and your sort of, I guess, strategy over the last 12 months. But how important has that been, and who took the lead with that, and what tips do you have from a social Daniel's laughing from a social media sense? It's like, Corey, I got this one, buddy.
Yeah.
Take a seat, Corey.
I'm sitting down to hear what he actually thinks he does.
But I mean, how did it start, mate? What's that journey been like?
It's so social media. I mean, if you want to follow anyone, just follow you two boys. You guys are absolutely killing it. As it is, the biggest probably challenge that we face as a business is advertising and also keeping content up that people want to follow. So the biggest challenge that we sort of have is that if we just continuously posted advertisement, nobody would want to follow us, because you're essentially just a billboard. And nobody wants to sit in front of a billboard all day, every day. So, and we'll see that if we look at our analytics of our social media, anything advertising doesn't really do that well. But sometimes, one of us will do a really, really good cook, and bang, you've hit 250,000 people in a reach or something along those lines. So, it's a combination of both of using the reach, getting the reels going on Instagram, which is a bit of the hot topic at the moment. We do need to get a bit better at that. TikTok, best social media platform in the world, even though Corey nearly abused me because I had people having a go at us over. He did actually abuse me. Yeah, I think I got a phone call. Yeah, because our first ever sort of viral video was over a potato bacon. I didn't put bacon in it, and I think I offended like half of Australia over bacon. So but they say all publicity is good publicity. So it's just about, trying to grab as many people as we can in one go and then attract them. But also, I think once again, this feeds onto everything that we've said, that it's just such a community. Like we've got, Phil, I've seen in the chat before, Brothers Barbecue's floating around, Sam up from Low and Slow. Like these are all guys that we talk day to day with online on our social media. So this whole little barbecue community that Australia has is really, really good. And we just love, we were fortunate enough to give away a gift pack to a fella up in Queensland last year for our 1 year anniversary.
That was an amazing gift pack.
Yeah, and to his credit, he's still sending us photos of his gift pack that he
because he's still opening it all up.
He's still opening it all up. It was a very good gift pack, and a big shout out to all of our suppliers that jumped on board and helped us with that. But when we picked the winner, we hoped that it was going to go to someone that really appreciated it, and I'm glad that he's won it, because I really would have really appreciated it too. But
he'll never have to buy rubs again.
Mate, yeah.
We've made a bloke happy, but we've lost a customer. So it's been great just coming along in that community as well. So yeah,
the community has been amazing. I mean, obviously, you mentioned Brothers Barbecue as well, but even the rub companies, like Sam from Sauce Low and Slow, Joe from Smoky Joe's in WA, like everyone just communicates so well and shares knowledge and things like that. And I think it's especially over the last, it's almost last 3 years now for me, just growing with those guys and seeing those those guys grow in the community has been fantastic. And then seeing Phil obviously picking up that deal recently, obviously with the smoker as well. So he's doing some great stuff. So it's just really cool.
Shout out to Sam as well, and we hope he's going well after the floods up in Queensland. And
mate, his lower kitchen area, yeah. And how many? When obviously you guys all three of you work full time as well, but in creating content. I mean, I sort of do a bit of content creation now, and I know how much time it takes. But when you're trying to make your own content, how's that? Are you sharing the load, or or just hopefully filming a cook every now and then? It just seems like it is a tough job as much as it seems simple.
It's been hard. So obviously when we first started the business, Corey's got an ops background, so we sort of gave him the logistical solution of it. Michael, I don't really know what Michael does, but Michael looks after honestly all invoicing, all that sort of stuff as well. Michael's on top of that.
He's quick on the socials too. He's quick on the socials.
Far out, he's quick at replying on the socials.
Where does he work? Because I'm not sure he works there.
Yeah, if his
boss is
listening in. But then myself, because I was under the age of 30, I thought, all right, I'll take the social media lead. But I'll be honest, I took the social media lead for probably the first 9 to 12, actually not 12 months, only a year. I'll probably say 8 to 9 months, but obviously the work has kicked up recently. I'm also at university. I had to reach out to these two, as you boys would know. Like it is intense to try and keep up with, with what the demands of social media. And we I'll put my hand up to say we tried to launch a YouTube channel. We've still got it. We still use it, but it was taking me hours to film a video, edit the video, upload the video. And unfortunately at this point, just working full time, I haven't been able to do it all myself. So I've had to lean on these guys and get them to give me a hand doing the social media, because it's pretty hectic, especially with work full time.
Phone eats first is the motto around here when we're cooking up. It's the phone eats first, and then you might get something that's a little bit cold, but oh well. You can point it. We sort of say to the kids, you can point it out to your friends that, hey, I ate that, and it is a challenge. And Michael's really great on it too. Him and I have had to. I suppose we started out not really doing much and not really knowing much about how to do it, and I think we've gotten better at what we do in conjunction with Daniel, and I'm excited to see where we're going to end up in 12 months time. So if we just keep going and getting better and just improving each video, each cook, that's going to be great.
So you've mentioned a few platforms there, but where can we find you online? Like what are all the platforms you guys are communicating on?
Everything but Twitter and Twitch. But you can probably find Corey on Twitch.
And OnlyFans. We're not on OnlyFans yet.
Not yet. If we don't sell enough rubs this summer, you might find us on OnlyFans.
That's a whole different rub society.
That's a whole different rub club.
Yes, it is.
On Instagram, on Facebook, and on TikTok at the Rub Society is our handles across all three.
Yep. No, it's awesome. And I mean, you guys did a few masterclasses, I suppose, earlier this year. I totally lost track of time. What are those, how did they come about? And, what are you going to be doing any more soon? Because they were pretty informative, and I suppose, you sort of caught a few people watching. So, is that something that's on the horizon?
Yeah, that was a brainchild of mine that I sort of had. Unfortunately, we did have one or two pull out towards the end, but the two that we had Tom from Smoky Pastures, as well as Jabin from Postal in Canada, which was he did a really good video and a really good masterclass. I am brainstorming in my head something in the future. I think the thing is that so we had something like 150 people sign up to win the chance to jump into one of those masterclasses. They were free, but then conversion wise, I think we would only on the average about 15 to 20 people in the masterclass as it was. But then when we did a live one on Instagram, you had a whole lot more people. But that's that sort of juggling we've had to do, because we really wanted the masterclass to be an intimate session where barbecuers could ask pitmasters questions about how they do things certain ways, as opposed to just a show and tell on Instagram or Facebook. So I've got something in my mind brewing about what I would like to do. I've got a few targets, a few pitmasters from the US that I want to try and get a hold of. Obviously, I think the ones that I want are probably going to come at a price, so it'll just be about sort of working out those sort of those details as to hopefully we can get it over the line, but we'll see.
That's it. I suppose how do you measure the conversion for masterclass to a sale, I suppose, as well, doesn't it? Like that's ultimately what you're trying to achieve. So it's a tough one to sort of measure. But that's all social media, right? I mean, you can chuck a reel in and get a few thousand and put no bacon in your sort of spud sort of thing, but it's still like, is that going to be a sale? Does that turn into a sale? Like so, but no, look, I guess kudos to you guys. You're trying and working through it, and I think that's the hardest thing. You got to keep going, right? And of course, you lean on ambassadors as well, which just I guess one of those sort of words that have been bandied around, especially over the last few years, and they've become synonymous in Instagram and things like that. But obviously that plays a huge part in your sort of marketing and sales as well.
You want to tag Corey? I'll be talking too much.
I meant to say Corey.
No, 100%. Look, I think we tried to measure, like, at the end of the masterclasses, having special sort of promo code for people that attended to see how that would convert into some sales, and we had a couple that sort of came through, but again, it's hard to gauge on the impact. If somebody watches a masterclass and then in 3 months' time decides, oh no, I need to buy that. Oh yeah, I went to that. I'll order off that site and don't use the code. Then we can't really follow that up. But you're right. I mean, we have always sort of just worked through and said that what we want to be able to do in terms of content, social media, competitions, it's got to be to build the community. We really want to build our, we've got our TRS community on Facebook, and we really want to just build the barbecue community within that group, but within other areas too. So if whatever we can do and however we can sort of promote what we are doing in ourselves with our awesome products, and it reaches somebody and they buy something, then if it changes how they cook something or gets them into barbecuing, then that's really what we're about. So
no, that's awesome.
Now, Corey, I know you can't tell me what your favorite rub is, but what's the one you've always got on hand in your cupboard? Like for me, there's always 3 or 4 kilos of firecracker in my cupboard. What do you have in your cupboard that just in case you're going to have a cook up? What's the sort of go-to you've always got on hand?
Yeah, look, I've got a fair an understanding.
You've got a whole shed you get free picking.
No, I don't go out there and just grab anything. I've got my own stash, and look, there's a couple. The best thing, in my opinion, the best thing we sell, which we actually don't have any of at the moment, because we've sold out and we're in the process of getting some more over, is the Postal Barbecue Chicken Rub. That for me is just elite, and it's not just a barbecue rub. We can just chuck it on a bit of chicken in the air fryer, or fry it up, and I kind of have that sort of discussion with people who go, I don't really get into barbecuing, and it's like, well, you don't actually need to use it on a barbecue. I mean, it's amazing when you do, but you can just use it, in your everyday cooking. But for me, that is incredible. I'm not far away from any of the Meat Church stuff. I think that's all of that stuff's really, really good, and combinations with other things are just amazing. And of course, I get Michael tells me that I need to be experimenting with more things, and I agree, but I can't go past Aaron don't know. Low and Slow Basics steak shooter. That for me that's where it all started for me.
That rub is bloody amazing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so that got me into the game, and it's good.
You touched on that as well, because I've got small kids, and so therefore the meals are sometimes quite bland, and just throwing some rubs on whatever being cooked just lifts it to the next level. And it could be anything from like a bolognese to a pizza to it just adds a bit of flavour. It makes it more enjoyable for me to enjoy the same food they're eating.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, we've got an Angus and Oink fries with that, and we did the Beer and Barbecue Festival in Adelaide, and a lot of people were drawn to that because it wasn't just a barbecue rub. It was just a bit of a thing you just throw on your chips and potatoes and things like that. The kids love that. They love the Yappo's chicken salt as well. I really like that. And Sam, I used one of yours the other day. I used your the coffee rub that you've got. No, I used the coffee rub on a beef, and it was incredible. We did a roast beef for the Queen on the Queen's holiday. Queen's Memorial Day off, and that was incredible, that rub.
Now, Sam did some amazing stuff, and I keep saying it that his rubs make you think, and I think it's just they're so complex. They're not your average barbecue rub, but they're good spice blends, and they're definitely worth trying out. How about you, Daniel? What do you what's your go-to, man? I'm not going to let you off the hook on this one.
Unfortunately, you've picked the two blokes of the Rub Society that are creatures of habits. Michael's the I've got to be careful what I say. The guy who uses a lot of rubs. But me and Corey are trying our best to go out and dabble. But I've got a bucket of Aaron's Low and Slow steak shooter. I absolutely live and breathe that. I've gone up to the catering bucket now, and I use that on roast potatoes and all of that sort of stuff.
You didn't know you could get a catering bucket, did you?
Hang on. We're on the website can order things in buckets.
There's a catering area. Yes, there is.
Oh, I'm not ordering things in buckets enough. Hang on. I thought I was impressed when I get stuff in 2 kilos. You're telling me I can get a bucket.
Yep. Now, this is a big bucket of steak shooter, which is divine. So, now to me, it's probably Aaron's steak shooter, but then also, like Corey, I'm the meat church. That was what I started on. I was, once again, creature of habit. I watched Malcolm Reed and Matt Pittman. They were who I watched all my videos doing. And when I found out I could get Matt's product, I went and got it. And probably Matt's Honey Hog was one of the first rubs that I put on a pork ribs. And it was because I was always someone that was like, can you really taste a rub if you slather it in barbecue sauce? And this was one of the first times I did it was actually I think the one I used on our YouTube channel, and I could taste that extra sweetness, or the honey. It had the honey in the rub. So I absolutely love them. But then also as well, and one that I use a lot is Smoky Pastures brisket, just salt, pepper, garlic. Oh yeah. So if I have a really nice cut of steak, I'll use that because it's subtle. It doesn't overpower it. But this is where, to all those people that are watching that don't smoke and like Sam said, use it in everyday cooking. If you're cooking a bolognese, like you said before, mate, and you're going to add salt, pepper, and garlic, it's already in a container for you in one go. Just happy days. She's ready to go. So, brisket, steak shooter, any of the meat church range, but I am starting to explore. I used Boomer's barbecue chicken the other day, and that was really, really nice as well.
Yeah, I've got the Boomer stuff come through this week, so I'm keen to try that out, and I've heard good things about the pork rub too. So let's chuck that on some ribs as usual. So keen to try something different with that one, which would be not my usual sourced rib, but a true sort of just a sort of a dry rib, which would be interesting in the end. Now, obviously, online sales and things like that are sort of, your part and parcel of your day-to-day sort of things. But you did venture out, and you mentioned before, Corey, that you did the Beer and Barbecue Fest in Adelaide, and Daniel tried his hardest to try and get me up there, and I wish I could have got up there. Actually, it looked like a bloody amazing day. But how did you find that festival, and what was, obviously it's one thing to have stuff in your garage and sort of post them out as they come through, but it's another thing to pack it all up, set up a tent, and speak to people nonstop. So did you guys enjoy it, and what was that experience like?
Oh, look, we loved it. I think I can speak on behalf of us all. It was something where I'll put my hand up. I was a bit apprehensive about going into it, being that it was not even our first year, and I was more interested in going along just to check it out and see, whether it was something that we could do. And my day boss, he basically said to me, he goes, "This is your target audience. Take a risk." So that sort of pushed my head along into sort of supporting Daniel and Michael, and I was pleasantly surprised. It was an amazing opportunity to meet a whole heap of great people. It was a lot of work. It was bumping and bumping out, and pulling everything down, and then resetting it back up at the end of it. It was a lot of work, but it was so rewarding. Not only from a financial perspective for us, but just to have our spot, in a pretty prominent spot within the stall section of the festival, but having people come through, asking for our recommendations or what we thought of, what would go well on this or that. And, we were lucky enough to team up with John and Anita from Rub Me Sauce Me, and
cool.
They brought all the Angus and Oink stuff as well.
Yeah,
so it was a good weekend for us all, and our display was pretty impressive, I must admit. And my highlight of the weekend, and Daniel, you might be the same, but we got to meet Cliff from Bulldozer, and he was just a ripping guy.
How good's Cliff, mate? I mean,
he was amazing.
So good to speak to him, and his story and his journey through, and especially his flavors that he sort of creates is amazing. But the passion there is so good too.
Oh, the thing that blew me away, and it was something that I actually was just like, how has nobody really thought of this? But he's like, "Oh, I've got a spritz.
Yeah.
The Worcestershire sauce spritz."
Yeah,
and I was like,
it tastes bloody amazing.
It was amazing. I'm just like, wow, that's like outside of the box thinking, and for something that we would all use. He's just come up and he's been able to market that. So hats off to him. But yeah, it's I'll let you speak in a sec. But I loved it.
No, I've got him on mute. It's okay.
Yeah, great.
I'm gonna go through watch this with a stopwatch, and I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna get the times, and if it's not even, I'll see you next week.
Oh, the first show stats. I love it.
Yeah. What were we talking about?
Beer and barbecue.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is that it was amazing to see. It was the first time I'd met Russ. It was the first time actually I'd met Aaron in Melbourne with yourself, Reyan. But the boys from Bulldozer, the boys from BRZ, the boys from Rub and Grub were there as well, and there were all these people that are Adelaide barbecue enthusiasts that I still hadn't had the opportunity to meet yet, because that was the first competition we'd had in Adelaide, I think, since COVID.
Robe.
So
it was Robe.
Robe. Sorry, they had that
November before.
Yeah, they had the Robe one. So it was an eye-opening experience. I think we were both probably nervous, Corey, because they did it in sessions. They did like a 12 till, for argument's sake, a 12 till 6, and then a 7 till 12 at night. And myself and Corey man the tents from 12 till 12 that day. And it did get pretty rowdy. You had the wrestling on the inside as well, and you got fans playing.
Shit getting around, that was great.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say that was the highlight of your time. But it was, so we're sort of sitting there going like, hell, how are we going to sell to these people that are evidently attacking the beer bit of the festival at that time of night? Really easy to sell to people we did not sell to anyone intoxicated. If the ACCC or anyone is watching, but we were lucky enough to be really, really busy during the day, and to be honest, I was a bit shocked at how many people knew brands, walked straight up to us. Hey, have you got Tom from Smoky Pastures, or do you have the Angus and Oink brand? Do you have the Meat Church brand? Actually knew what they wanted, and then took it and go. A great weekend and a great bit of exposure for the Rub Society.
That's awesome, mate. Any others planned? Could we see you possibly at Meatstock next year, you reckon?
I'm a salesman, so you will find me anywhere where I can make a sale.
I'm an ops guy.
You got to talk to the ops guy, and we're going to
at least come to Melbourne, boys. Come to Melbourne.
I think for us, the experience to probably get over and just have a look and see what it's all about. It's a little bit
see
different.
You at Melbourne. Lock it in. You heard it here first.
We'll come over.
Yeah,
we will come over. We'll come over and say hello and and have a look what it's all about.
No, definitely good. It was good to run into you in Melbourne. Daniel was as brief as it was because I think you were there for the footy, not for the meat stock. But
awkwardly booked it, not knowing meat stock was on, and then meat stock sold out, and I was like, oh crap. So it is what it was. So yeah.
No, it was good to run into you. But yeah, worth checking it out, 100%.
So if I'm a guy and I think I've got a really good rub and I want to think about starting to sell it. Is that something you guys can sort of help someone thinking of starting their own sort of rub business up, and is it something you can support?
I think the one that we could probably lean on is in the comments is Mr. Sam Kimber. He's probably the go-to man to talk to if you've got a rub and you're talking about developing it. He's got some incredible blends and some unique flavors, and he can certainly walk you down the right path on what you need to do with the rub. And then once it's, you can lean on the guys that, help me out here, Reyan. Is it Oz, the print design? Oz
Ground Zero.
What are they?
Ground Zero.
Ground Zero. Yeah. They do some really good graphics as well. And have helped a lot of the guys 100%. Out in the barbecue community. So there's your graphic, and then once you've put it all together, hit us up and we can help launch it on a platform for you.
That's awesome. And look, I must admit, I've got a shout out to Joe as well. Joe Camilleri from Smoky Joe's. He does. He's the way he's grown over the last couple of years has been phenomenal, and he's definitely helps the community as well. So worth having a chat there, I reckon.
Yep. And have you got sort of like 3 tips for anyone want to start out a similar online business?
Don't.
That's tip 1.
We don't want any more competition.
Don't do it. There's the 3 tips.
I think, I'll give you one, and then Daniel can give you his 2. But I think be brave is probably one of the things. I think we have, 12 months ago, if I was to sit here and say that I would have started a small business, I would have laughed at you because I've done nothing like this in my life before. So it's definitely been an eye-opening experience for me, but it's been really rewarding. I remember one night saying to my wife when we were I think it was the first night that we had opened, and I was looking forward to getting a random buyer, and not like a family or a friend pity buy, because we were starting it up. The next day, our first order was a random buyer, and for that whole the first day, I think we had 8 or 9 orders that came through that were all just random people coming on board, and it was so great, and for me, I felt so rewarded after that, and it was the first the second day, and we still haven't had a lot of the family and the friend buys. We've had a few, but and all those who are watching that haven't bought from us, you're dead to me.
Stop asking for discounts.
But yeah, go for it, Daniel. You can finish up with the other 2.
So my other advice would be the distributing of rubs, saturated market. It's covered. Don't worry about doing it. We've got the monopoly. Lockdown, don't even bother. My biggest advice would be if you do something you love. Like to this day, I don't consider myself a small business owner at all because it's almost too real. Sorry, that's not the right way to word it. I guess what I'm trying to say is that to me, this community that we've got and the fact that Rory does all the Rory.
Who's Rory?
Rory's the guy we originally wanted, but we settled with you.
This is like the Beatles. Like, oh yeah, we had to drop the drummer and got Rory in.
Ringo, yep.
Ringo's out.
So no, it's if you do something you love, which we love barbecuing. I mean, I get to cook meat, take photos of it in my sort of role in the business, and put it up online. It's not really a job. Whereas everybody thinks, and it is hard. I think it was, Sam say it was a roller coaster. Anthony there just said the first is always the hardest. Like, it is bloody hard. We've been going at it for a year. Every dollar we earn, we put back into the business to grow it even further than we can. But because it's something we love doing, it doesn't feel like we're a chore. Whereas everyone's trying to get rich quick off e-commerce, which it's not easy to do e-commerce. Yeah. So, if you're going on Alibaba and you're getting a drink bottle or a rug or something like that, it can be very quick to lose interest because, I remember when we first started we were just sort of talking as a group, and one of the guys sort of said, like, what do we need to do in advertising? Word of mouth, should be enough, shouldn't it? And Facebook these days have gotten it, like, they've got it down to an absolute T that if you want to be seen, you got to pay, or you got to have that organic growth. So it's been a massive learning experience. So if someone was to go and buy a drink bottle, put it up online, and not get sales in the first 10 days, it's very quickly for them to turn off and try something different.
How did you find this? I mean, obviously, 3 of you in the business, which is great from a support point of view, but also 3 competing, I guess, thought processes and mindsets and ideas and conflicts and things like that. But has that really shaped the way you guys have grown? Obviously, I mean, it's a silly question, but obviously it has shaped the way you guys have grown. But what's that dynamic been like having 3 in the business? Because that's I must admit, I'd probably struggle with it myself because I'm a bit of a control freak, but that's just me. How did you guys go? As Mark agrees.
You start, Corey. I'll follow you.
Yeah, look, it has had its challenges, but I suppose we've had a method where we've sort of, if someone's passionate about something, even though it may not sit well with 1 or 2, we sort of have a go. And again, it's just getting back to that, just being brave and backing our partners in. Like if we feel like they've got a great idea, if they feel like they've got a great idea and they want to go with it, well then I can't really sort of say, well, I'm going to stand in the way of that, because there'll come a time where it'll be my idea, and I don't necessarily want that to be shot down. But I've been surprised, and even at some of the ideas that come through where I'm not necessarily 100% on board, I feel like when I do get on board with it, and then we all are chucking all of our energy into it, it's worked and it's come up. Beer and Barbecue Festival as a classic example of that.
Yeah, the only thing I'll add to that is that we've got a rule which I think has served us pretty well. Because essentially we've got 2 salesmen and 1 op. So if we did a majority rules, can guarantee you that me and Michael would get away with doing everything we ever wanted. Whereas we've got a rule where all 3 of us have to agree or we don't go ahead with it. So then when one of us come to an idea like Beer and Barbecue Fest or something like that, and people might be hesitant, it's not you don't get a 2v1 and then that one feels like, well, I never get a say in this business. But it's also up to the 2 to convince the 1. So, and Beer and Barbecue is the perfect example where at the start it was, I think I was the only one that wanted to do it. Even Michael didn't want to do it. And then he's got a rubber arm, so he's easy. So I twisted his arm pretty quickly and got him on board. But then it was about talking to like Corey and saying, because if I can guarantee you, if me and Michael did things the way that we always wanted to do it, whilst Beer and Barbecue was a success, if we had gone off what we'd first thought about doing, might not have been a success. Whereas then you have Corey, who might have been a little bit more hesitant, and he says, all right, well, hang on. If we're going to do this, how are we? And this is the ops man in him coming out. And it's not usually often that I compliment ops at all. So, we do all the work. No, you don't. No sales, no business. No. It's then about
slightly triggered, Corey. Slightly triggered.
No, I'm not.
He's just used to it, I think.
I'm used to it.
It's just about working together and going, okay, so if you've got Daniel who, full gung-ho, ready to go, Corey who might be a little bit more hesitant, meeting in the middle. How often do we meet in the middle, Corey, and just sort of say, like, all right, well, let's do this? Because at a time, Corey's a great risk manager, so for us, we need to look at it and go, how much risk are we going to bring on the business by doing this? And then what can we do to reduce the risk at all? Because we are a small business who don't take a profit. We put everything we earn back into the business. There's certainly risk that we need to take at times.
No, that's awesome, man, and good insight into the business.
Corey, what's next for the Rub Society?
Liquidation.
They're shredding papers as we speak.
Get my garage back. Yeah. No. What's next? Well, there's a couple of things that are on the go at the moment. A couple of secret squirrel things that will sort of come out in.
We like exclusives. Hang on, you got exclusives.
We really like squirrels as well.
Look, I promise you, when we're ready to go, we will come to you guys with the exclusive, and you guys can announce it. But yeah, no. Look, I think we really want to consolidate over the next sort of 12 months and continue to grow our range. Stick our head into a few more events, and we know that there's a competition next weekend at Austral Meats in Adelaide, and so we'll get ourselves down there and say hello. Meat stock will be something where we'll have a look, and we'll have a wander around and say hello. And there's a lot of stuff that we want to get on board. And hello to Anthony. We love you, mate, and we love your products. They're the best. We want to just continue to add quality products to our range that we know that our customers will really love. And if we can do that, and also in conjunction with that, build our community, then I think that's kind of the goal for really the next 12 months.
I love it. And I mean, you mentioned community and growing the community, and it is such a great community to grow into. And I think it's such a welcoming one too. And I guess before we go, who in the community inspires you two, and who should we go check out that I guess you guys get inspiration from? Daniel. Let's go with Daniel. Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry.
Corey can start. When Corey starts, I got to think.
Daniel's got to think.
Daniel's going to say me.
Maybe seen his socials.
Yeah. No, look, I think Jabin Postal with Postal Barbecue. Get around him. He has some amazing tutorial videos. Again, his product through the Rub Society is outstanding. I can't recommend him highly enough. Such a down-to-earth guy as well, and I really feel like he's someone that Australia can show a lot of love to. So he's someone for me that is that go-to.
Awesome, man. How about you, Daniel?
Reyan from Rib Appreciation.
Never heard of him. Nah,
neither have I.
No, seriously, though.
He just loves brands. It's
I love all the brands.
I was gonna say brand something, but I don't know what time slot we're in.
We're definitely nearly 9 o'clock, so you got 2 minutes to hold off.
Yeah. So I guess to me, mine would be probably just the Adelaide guys. Is that they're really. I don't want to list them all off because I'll forget one and upset them as well. Yeah. You got all the Adelaide guys, but also Sam up in Queensland. He's doing some great stuff as well. I love what he's doing. He's obviously gone through a bit of tough time at the moment. But also, you said as well, Joe, like I reckon every week I'm seeing him in a new shop in WA. So he's absolutely killing it. And I guess that's who I guess there's two different people. You got your people like your Aarons and whatnot that we take, inspiration about cooking meat off of. But then we've got your business as well, which is your Sam and your Joe that are growing their businesses as much as we can. And from a business, we take that on board.
That's awesome. Corey, Daniel, so good to have you on the show. And thanks for coming on and sharing, mate. And yeah, hopefully looking forward to see what the next 6 months or 6 to 12 months come. And hopefully we do see in at the meat stock, because I know Mark and I are planning to be at all the meat stock. So even if you see in Melbourne, that'd be great. But if you do get up to Sydney too, mate, even if it's just for a trip, it'd be worth it. Catch up for a beer and see you guys. So thanks heaps. And if you guys want to hang backstage, we'll wrap the show up and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having us.
See you guys.
See ya. As I remove them individually, because that's how it works. There's got to be a better way.
Like, to tell them when they come to meat stock, they've either got to grow a beard, a mow, or work on their dad bod. You know. Yeah.
Oh, mate, that's the. I've been planning. It's like Jan 1. Stop shaving. That's my plan. Man, how good was it to get that insight from Corey and Daniel? Like just seeing that chemistry between the two as well. Yeah, that's it, man. And I think it's a big thing to. It's not easy starting a small business, and a lot of small businesses, I think 80% or whatever, fail within the first year. So for them kicking on to the second year is really, really cool, and seeing that growing back and actually putting their profits back into the business, which is tough to do, and doing it while they're working full time. So that's really cool to see, mate. But Mark, I know we've got a couple of weeks break, just sort of taking a bit of a breather. We might have a season break. We'll be back sort of in early October or sort of mid-October with the next episode. We'll announce that sooner. But I know we've got a very special episode coming up, which we call the Lord of the Rubs. So I won't say any more. The Lord of the Rubs episode is coming, which is going to be fun, and you guys can work out what that is. But for you, mate, who's inspired you, mate? Who should we check out?
If you haven't seen Guardian of the Grill, so Jesse, just check Jesse out, doing some really good stuff.
I'll check him out.
Yourself, who do you think we should follow?
And I'm gonna have to give a shout out to Phil Moon. Basically, sort of Brothers Barbecue, did some great stuff, did some great cooking, and I've met him a couple of times too. He's a really great bloke in the southeastern suburbs here in Melbourne. And yeah, go check him out. He's doing some good stuff. He's got some good barbecue content as well, and definitely inspiration. I'll sort of see stuff and I go, yeah, got to check it out. But Mark, enjoy the rest of your holiday, mate. I appreciate you taking the time away from the family. And I'll see you in Geelong soon. We can have the beer we missed out for the grand final, but we'll catch up soon. And look after yourself, and everyone else have a great week, and see you in a couple, and take care of yourselves.
Thanks, everybody.
See you later. Bye.